Yo, welcome to the New Normal Podcast, a place where we say what everybody is thinking. Thank y'all for tuning in with me today. If y'all see this thumbnail and title, we're going to be talking about the religious zealots and how people have let religion go to their head. We're going to be talking about the NAIA Jackson's interview. If you don't know who that is, that's the dating guru's ex wife, Derek Jackson's ex wife. She was on Dear Future Wifey. Um, I'll try to pick out some timestamps in that video, but we just gonna go over it because it is a lot to unpack. And I'm gonna say this: Derek Jackson used his wife as his muse, right? The reason I say that is all the stuff and all the advice that he gave out is because he was doing what he was doing it to her. So Derek Jackson used his wife as a muse, as a guinea pig, as what to look out because I'm doing this at home. And the sad part about Derek Jackson, a lot of the stuff that he was saying, men were telling women, hey, men do not move like this. Men don't operate like this. Men don't even remotely think like this. And then when he did give sound advice about things that men would do, the manipulative nature and stuff like that, those were spot on because he was actually practicing that in his marriage. The other thing we're gonna talk about is Deitrick Haddon. Um, Deitrick Haddon, the last few years have been catching a lot of slack because Deitrick Haddon, um, I guess it's kind of like shunned a little bit when it comes to like the gospel scene. And the reason that I say that, if y'all pay attention to gospel music, I grew up in the church. My dad's a pastor and whatnot. So growing up in the gospel scene and in church, Deitrick Haddon always kind of got shunned a little bit because he was a guy with the tattoos. He was, trying to do like R&B music for a point in time. They didn't like the direction that he was going with his music, the sound of his music, who he was hanging out with at one point in time. And now they're mad at Deitrick Haddon because he was getting twerked on by his wife, though. He wasn't getting twerked on by a just random individual. He was getting twerked on by his wife, and now they're mad. And it's getting to the point now where people in the church try to act like they don't judge and they let God do all the judging. But the church folks is some of the most judgmental people you will ever meet. So much so that the judgment is so high. That's why the attendance ends up being so low. A lot of people don't like to talk about why a lot of people, or especially men, don't go to church as much. Um, I understand why women go to church because women, especially single women, they're praying to God to get a man. And we have a couple, married couple here enjoying themselves. And I think it was supposed to be at like his birthday party, if I'm not mistaken. Do y'all think that it's okay for married people to have fun in clubs and twerk on each other, even if they're supposed to be Christian, saved of the body of Christ? Y'all let me know what y'all think. And before we go any further, y'all make sure y'all like the video, share it, comment, make sure y'all subscribe, follow the page, share the video, especially. We're trying to grow this page, so y'all help me do that. But y'all let me know. Do y'all think it's cool for married couples to twerk on each other, or the married woman to twerk on her husband in public? I think, like I said, we so judgmental nowadays, especially when it comes to church and religion, but they try to act like they don't. Um, I remember I'm from Birmingham, and I remember they tried to make a nightclub at one of the churches I attended, and it was supposed to be for for the single people so they can get to know each other and meet each other because the outcry from the women was that in church there was no good places to go and mingle outside of like secular events to meet men, right? So to solve their problem, they called themselves making like a night spot or a like a coffee bar and stuff like that. So church women and church men could mingle with each other and get to know each other and stuff like that. So I'm going to share this video and y'all let me know what y'all think. This right here is Deitrick Haddon and his wife, and she twerking on him. Y'all let me know if this is bad or whatnot. I ain't gonna play the music. Hold on. I ain't gonna play the music of this. What is the music now? I want to know. And if y'all see her, she's definitely giving a Christian twerk right now because they might not get out the house enough, or she might not get a chance to twerk on her husband enough because this is the worst twerking I think I've ever seen in my life. So this is definitely a Christian twerk. This is PG. He ain't got her pushed over and like, she ain't got her hands on the floor. She's still doing her, I'm in the choir church clap while she's dancing. So this is a horrible twerk, but nonetheless, it's got the church outrage. And like I said, when it comes to like Christian music, if you keep up with Christian music, Deitrick Haddon always struggled with his image and what people thought about him and stuff like that because huh, he had a different one. He had a different look too. That was a thing that was an issue for him. The look that he had, and a lot of people had a problem with that with his look. Hold on, get this right. It's one of these. Yeah, a lot of people had an issue with his look. So that was an issue there. Like I said, if y'all remember, he used to have the tattoos, um, piercings. He was trying to do like gospel music. I think at one point in time, he wanted to, go in and out. And I think part of him struggling to find out his calling or what he was trying to do was because of money. I think a lot of it, I think him and a few other gospel artists were complaining about the money, and I think that's why we see a lot of gospel artists cross that line and just go into secular music and do R&B because a lot of your good artists and singers and stuff like that grow up in the church, but they end up doing R&B and secular artists. And a lot of your Motown singers grew up in the church, leading the choir, playing the piano and stuff like that. But ultimately they cross over, and I think it's because of popularity, fame, money. Churches don't get the push when it comes to music. I think gospel music have stricter gatekeepers than rap music. And because so much so because it's a smaller demographic. People that go to church and listen to gospel music is small. So you're trying to fight for the ear of a group that is extremely, extremely small. But I'm gonna continue to play the video. See what the rest of this dance talking about. Now this was really harmless. This twerk. This was really PG. This is really him and his wife showing affection and having fun. I remember when I grew up in the Baptist church. I'm from deep South, Birmingham, Alabama, and one of the things when it comes to being in church, our Baptist church especially, I remember being in church all day, and one of the things about church is people did not show affection to their spouses or their spouses in church. I still remember it was a time where women could not be in the pulpit at churches. Like they couldn't, women couldn't be preachers. Women, you had your deaconess, and that was rare. But women could not sit in the pulpit at Baptist churches when I was growing up. It was certain things they had to do. I still remember a time where the women sat on one side of the church and the other women sat, and the men sat on the other side of the church, and you never seen them really interact at church until you was eating after church. That was one of the weirdest things. So when I went to like a non-denominational church, I seen a lot of people, huh, men and women sitting next to each other, and they were showing affection. The husbands will wrap their arms around their wives and kiss them on the cheek and hold hands in church and in public. So it was really a difference. It was a culture shock, and seeing men show affection to their wives was different in public. Like, I grew up in a two-parent home, so I seen my family, my mom and father, always be affectionate. My dad used to slap my mom on the booty, and she used to come around and grab them and kiss them on the cheek and stuff like that. So I always seen people in my household be affectionate, but other couples, especially in the church setting, that was different. So I can understand why so many people are outraged with Deitrick Haddon and his wife twerking, because I think we still have a lot of those people stuck in those old ways and they need to get out of it. Like I said, the church try to act like they aren't judgmental, but they're very judgmental. You have the more judgmental you have in church, the less the attendance is. That's one thing that I noticed. Especially mom and pop churches, those churches that get started and founded by the family, and it's real extra messy. And you have the auntie over the books, the uncle might be the pastor, and somebody else is the overseer of the church, and how the funds get spent. Those churches are horrible. Like, I've been to a bunch of those. If it's real family structured at the top, it's going to be a bad church from my experience. And like I said, those people that's in the church, they always seem to have it to where they're kind of like assholes, if I would say. They're assholes. They snooty. They feel like God ordained the whole family instead of the pastor. So that's something that a lot of people have to deal with. Like they said, you had to deal with a lot of church hurt coming up, finding your church home, stuff like that. And us as black people, I feel like church was very necessary back in the day. If forget, your religion or what you believe, but the aspect of church and the community, growing, learning who in your community did what, how can y'all community build, who was riding and stuff like that. That was important in church, and that's why you needed, church at that point in time. Church, I don't think it has that family or community building dynamic now. Like, especially we have these mega churches, and now I see a lot of churches, and I went to a church where, you go to church and then your pastor on the screen because he's so busy building other churches, and he had to go back and forth between churches, and wants to be a bishop. And what that ultimately does is take out the intimacy out of church, where people just come in, open their Bible, and praise and shout, and just leave the same way they came in. They just do it out of obligation. Like the Bible say, raise a child the way he go, that he never depart, because that's what a lot of people are doing now. They're just going to church out of repetition. They have the same anger out of repetition. A lot of people honestly don't believe in the Bible or in God. They just do it, but they call it flame insurance or your hell insurance, or just making sure you don't go to hell. So I'm gonna go and pay this little drop in the bucket on a Sunday or Saturday. People always like to say, God knows my heart. If God truly know your heart, just because you coming to church, baby, he know that you coming to church just because you scared to go to hell. You don't really believe. You ain't really out here repenting. You still sinning Monday through Saturday, doing what you want to do. Y'all worse than Deitrick Haddon and his wife. Y'all be up in the club with bent all over, and you're dressed and rolls up, and y'all ain't got no drawers on. No draws, just booty everywhere. And we all looking around because we trying to figure out where that smell coming from. And it's coming from you. We look over, and we like, damn, that's the pastor daughter. She be sitting front row every day, and she out here bent over smelling like this with her booty in the air. This don't make no sense. And y'all want to be out here judging Ditrick Haddon and his wife because she gave him a holy twerk down, because that's what that really was. It was a few seconds to celebrate his birthday with his wife, and he can't even show affection to his wife. And I guess, and I understand that some of it is, as Christians, you don't want to look like the world, right? I get that. You're supposed to separate yourself from being like the world, being like secular, being like the everyday man and woman. That's the part of being a Christian. You're supposed to go read your Bible, understand and have a relationship with God, be baptized, born again, renewed, all of that with the spirit. I get it and I understand it. You're supposed to walk in it. And twerking is not a part of God. But he said be fruitful and multiply. So a lot of y'all was twerking to get them kids. Let's be real. Y'all was twerking to get them kids. I guess the only aspect of it is doing it in public and then doing it in private. That's y'all issue. Like I said, you have to not be so judgmental when it comes to church about a man and a wife and what they do. At this point, if I was in church and I heard a man and a wife were swingers, I wouldn't even care because that's what they want to do in their marriage. That's what they want to do in their marriage. I don't even really care. And to be honest, a lot of us, what they tell us, they need to sweep around our doorstep first before we even cast our first stone. But a lot of people try to act like their house in order and their house clean. But what they be out here doing is backbiting and backstabbing and gossiping and talking about people behind their back. And then, like I said, go to church and hope the Lord don't send them to hell when they die, which is a sad reality. A sad reality. And now I'm about to pull up the NAIA, right? I'm gonna say this again. The NAIA Jackson was Derek Jackson's muse, right? He used her as his, Mona Lisa, his Van Gogh, whatever you want to call her. She was his thesis that he used to portray. I watched that interview too, Ashanti. He used her as his study guide to make millions of dollars to show women how men are manipulative, right? And the thing is, men, like I said, men kept telling women, men stayed on women all the time. Men do not think, act, or move remotely like Derek Jackson is telling y'all. And then when he did give women a good piece of sound advice, it was because that advice was coming directly for how he treated his wife. So we're gonna go and watch this video. It's a long video, and I wanted to timestamp it, but it was really freaking good. I ain't gonna lie, it was good because it was eye opening. Because you have a woman who said she was a nerd, right? She said she was a nerd. So I'm gonna say something. A lot of y'all don't know that y'all are prey. That might sound messed up, but a lot of y'all women don't understand that you guys are prey. And men can see y'all coming from a mile away. Especially if you smart, quirky to yourself. You might be, you might have a decent body. Yeah, she was a little bit better. I give her that. She still talk about the Lord a lot during the interview, but I give her that she was a lot different in this interview than I think she was when we seen her any other time. She didn't seem like a religious zealot. She didn't seem crazy. She seemed down to earth. She seemed like a woman who has been through stuff. But then, this interview is crazy because this is a woman that said she had 3 abortions. She got raped at 19 and 6 months later, her and Derek Jackson was in a relationship. This woman said her and these women, before they even got married, she was having shifts with other people. She was having shifts with other women with her man. She said is I think she said it was multiple times that the wedding was about to get called off. And I'm like, the signs is there. Like you literally were a willing participant in your own demise, your own hurt, and the stuff that you went through. Your own demise. And like I did feel bad because I was like, the man,
There is
yeah,
absolutely nothing
half
going on
side
with
chicks
you
is
in
wild,
this case.
Ashanti.
Great. Can I buy you a drink after this?
I'd like
Hold on, let's skip.
Oil, sometimes clearly to my own detriment.
I'm gonna start right here at 10. So
is interested in. So,
So, did you deal with any type of childhood trauma when you think about it outside of abandonment?
So again, my dad did never follow really through on his promises. So when I would go over there, sometimes I would cause some issues between him and my stepmom, and then I would be at my grandma's house. And so
You say it was caused issues like what? What do you?
So this is one of the number one things men look for when preying on a woman is her father in her life. This is the number one thing a man will prey on if he's trying to be a manipulative user. Because if I know her father is in her life, then I know that I can as a father, I could tell her, nah, baby, this ain't how men act. Nah, baby, this ain't what men do. Nah, baby, you gotta he supposed to treat you like this and that. If you don't have a male figure in your life to tell you how men can act and should act, then that was gonna always, be an issue with our relationship. But let's keep going.
You mean?
So they would just have like their little arguments or whatever. And I felt like it was always about me. But of course, I'm a child, so
Yeah.
I don't know adult things at that time. But how I internalized it and what I carried with me is that, oh, this is about me being over here. Now I'm over here, I'm disrupting their little family union. And, my mom is over here. And I feel like maybe she's jealous of my mom or something like that, And this is all going on while I'm a child. So this is what I grew up with what the capacity that I had. And so that was pretty much the main trauma that I had. I didn't have.
So this is what I'm gonna say. Y'all need to start having these kids if y'all ain't gonna be together. Please. Because these are the products that y'all are putting back out into society. It could be a young lady like this. She seemed like a sweet girl. She probably would be nice, decent, a good wife to somebody, out of the way, ain't causing no trouble, just need to be taken care of, talk a little bit about life. And if y'all ain't gonna stay together when y'all had these kids, please don't have them. Because I'm so tired of hearing this story about how your parents went together and them fighting made you think it was because of you. And I know that you can't help that, but I'm tired of hearing it from people that can't avoid something like that. This can be avoided if so many people wasn't selfish. My wife tell me about, growing up and hearing her parents and, arguing and having issues, dating and stuff like that. And then when they, now they're trying to be more copacetic. And now it's an issue because it's like when we needed y'all when we were kids, y'all couldn't seem to get it right. But now all of a sudden y'all want to, at my age 34, want to try to get this together. That's weird. And I think a part of it is because the grandkids is, one of the reasons why they trying to make it work and trying to do better. But still, these are products y'all are putting back out into society and then want everybody else to deal with them. That father, your parental hurt goes on for lifetime sometimes. Your parental hurt goes on for lifetime sometimes.
Another trauma until I was 19 where I was raped. And so I still kind of include that in childhood trauma. So
it's been an interesting thing with this season of the podcast. It's like almost every woman that has sat down on this couch during this season have dealt with sexual trauma, sexual assault, rape.
Yes.
It was a statistic.
What Brandy say? Or people didn't know any better. They didn't have the tools. I agree 100%. Also, I want to say this. This is going to sound bad when I say this, but
statistic that I read that was 1 in 5 women have dealt with sexual assault, and then now they said there's probably 1 in 3 or something like crazy.
So I'm gonna say this. This gonna sound bad when I say it, but I'm gonna say it. Y'all make sure y'all like the video and share it if y'all can, please. I'm trying to grow my channel. But I'm gonna say this. When dating someone, I think that should be like a number 3 date question. Like your third date before y'all have sex and all that. Like I think you should date somebody at least. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna be real. You know, sometimes you want to have sex to see if you really like a person. I know us as men, we have to have sex to see if we like a person, a woman, right? But I think you should give it 3 dates, and on your third date, you should ask a woman, have you been sexually abused at any time in your life? Have you been raped? Have you been, fondled? Have you been, forcibly touched up the buttocks like Tupac was charged with? Have you been like viciously, ravished or raped? Have you had any of this happen? And women and men should ask this question. And the reason that I say this should be in our list of red flags. But I see a lot of people give people passes, and I understand that you want to have the idea they couldn't help what happened to them, right? And that's true. But some people never heal from those hurts. Some people never grow past those hurts. And have you healed from it? Let's see what Ashanti said. Ashanti said, if a man asked me, have I ever been assaulted, I would imagine that's a red flag if it's too soon. What you mean by that? It's a red flag if it's too soon. I need time to build. Hold on. I need time to build the trusting and vulnerability. So you don't think you can build that enough to say yay or nay if you've been sexually assaulted? How many dates do you think it would take you, Ashanti, before you can tell somebody, if that's happening? Right, Brandon. And are you healed from it? I agree. I think, like I said, I think when it comes to stuff like sexual assault, that should be a red flag. And I think you should run. I understand that people can't help if you were a child and that happened. I understand if you were walking down the street as a woman and a dude jumped out on you at Central Park, and did that, because that happens. Let's be real, that happens. And from my dating experience and listening to women and how many women have been touched, as a child or have some type of sexual assault is crazy, and what I feel bad for now is we have with the invention of the internet, we have so many women getting caught up in false accusations, like Tawana Bradley and the Duke lacrosse team. I'm gonna mention something like, it makes it bad that other women who experience this will have something taken for granted that they come forward with because of false accusations and allegations. You know what I'm saying? And that's the sad part about it. What Ashanti said. If I'm going to be exclusively romantically involved, not third date, and we are casually dating. So how as a dude, if I know that that's a red flag, am I supposed to continue to date you knowing that I could have found this out by the third date that you were sexually assaulted, and I know I need to get away from you? Because now I'm gonna feel as if I 5-6 dates and I spent all of this money getting to know you. I'm gonna feel like I've got the short end of the stick. And I advise men not to sleep with women who've been sexually assaulted. Don't prey on women, because being sexually assaulted can go so many ways. It can go so many. You could be turned into a reclusive, where you're a shell, where you don't want to come out the house. You don't want to have nobody to touch you. Certain people can't touch you a certain type of way. There are triggers that happen when people touch you. You don't want to have sex anymore. Like, you're repulsed by the thought of sex or the interaction. When you try to build relationships and stuff with people and men and stuff like that, you're always worried about if they're doing something to you or they're causing harm to you, going to cause harm to you. Building that trust back up in men or women, whoever done it to you, can be difficult. That's another woman on the third date. Is an automatic no for me. get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. But let's continue this video.
Is it?
Absolutely.
What happened in that? Was it a boyfriend, a date rape situation, a relative, or what happened, if you don't mind sharing?
So I was 19. I was on summer from college actually, and I was going out to a party that I didn't tell my mom about. I was, doing my own thing, and I went there, and I did have an ex-boyfriend there, and a couple other people, my family, my brothers were there, and their friends and things like that. And so we were all drinking, having a good time. I was downstairs, and one of the people there decided that they, seen.
So Brandy, I gotta ask you a question. How many dates, or how, I might be asking this wrong. How should a man approach what date should he ask a woman, and how should he approach that or ask that question to a woman if she's been sexually assaulted? What date should a man ask a woman if has she been sexually assaulted, and how should he approach and ask that question? Y'all let me know in the chat.
What they seen me, and they wanted what they wanted, and so I was grabbed from behind, I was pushed down, and then there's that story of being raped, but everybody was upstairs, so they couldn't hear me downstairs, in the basement, screaming with over the music and all of that. So
how'd you process that? Did you tell anybody?
I did not process it. And so I did not process it at all. I didn't tell anybody. In fact, then I didn't go home that night. I actually stayed in that.
So so Brandon said he shouldn't ask until he's about to ask exclusively, right? If he's about to make her his exclusive lady. So then my question is, what if I say, I like you third date? Can we make this exclusive? And she says yes. Then is it appropriate to ask her, hey, before we go any further though, before I know that you're going to be my lady, can I ask you a personal question? Have you been sexually assaulted or raped? Okay, Brandy and Ashanti saying the same thing.
In the house with my abuser, right? Well, not like in the same place, but they were like upstairs, I stayed the night. I didn't tell my mom where I was at. And I actually lied to her and told her, hey, I was at my uncle's house with my aunt and my brothers, and so I never told her, and I never told anybody else. I actually held it for 5 years, and then I briefly mentioned it to Derek at one point because he was talking to someone at the time, and then it came up like in the conversation. I was like,
So I got a question for y'all. How does a man approach that question? That's what, even if I say, I want you to be my woman, my lady, we exclusive. How does a man approach the conversation that to ask a woman that? What wording should he use, and what should be the setting? Like, what's the setting should be? What should the mood be? If I'm gonna ask a woman, have you been sexually assaulted? What should this mood, like, how should I plan this out? Like, should it be over casual date, like a casual dinner, we out eating, and I ask? Should it be, in the house on the couch, and then I ask? Should it be over the phone? Like, how do you go about asking, and what wording should you use to ask a woman that, to make her feel like she's comfortable, so it won't come off invasive, so it won't come off insensitive, so it won't come off as if I'm judging her? You know what I'm saying? So I think a lot of guys may run a girl off It may run a girl off if I'm asking and it seems like I'm trying to pull teeth to get this information out of you, because I know some of this information can be so closely guarded and you don't want everybody in your business to know the struggles and the pains and the hurt that you've been through. And I understand that's why you said y'all women are saying that they need to be he needs to make sure he's want to exclusively date you as a woman. I understand that. Straightforward at that point. I think talking about intimacy and boundaries would be a good what is that? Transition.
I was raped and this just triggered that. And he was like, what? You know, so he didn't even find out till 5 years.
Okay, let's see what Ashanti said. Ashanti said he should say, do you have anything you aren't interested in sexually? Has anyone crossed a boundary with you before? I think that'd be a good question to ask. But what if she says that and has been sexually assaulted but doesn't tell me that, you know, let's say she says yes and then freezes up, or says yes and then, you know, plays it off like it's no big deal, because that could happen too. Sometimes people get traumatized sexually and don't know that they were like traumatized too, or they, you know, suppress it, or they make it not a big deal. And then the flip side of someone being, you know, sexually assaulted is they become very promiscuous. Like something was taken from them, so they don't feel like they have anything to really hold on to, or their self-esteem and self-worth is very low, you know.
And it was just brief conversation. And then I never really dealt with it. I never got that therapy or counseling. And I didn't get that until I was 30, which at that point was about 12 years after the experience. And
let's skip ahead. I think it was like 22 minutes, 20 something right here.
Official.
It would be a dang on commercial advertisement.
Anniversary for years. Yeah, he had this big old heart and he had his shirt off and he was like, will you be my girl?
He had his shirt off?
Yes. He was fine too. I was like, yes, Danae, look at you. Everybody thought you were a nerd, but here you go.
That's what I'm about to say. What were people thinking? Here you were, this quiet little nerdy girl that you said to have pimples all over your face, but then you get the
doesn't match.
You get the sexy. What did he play football?
He did play football.
So you got the sexy jock. Like what was that about?
Fire.
And this is the part I tell y'all. Some of y'all women don't know that y'all are prey. Y'all think that y'all have come up in life because you know you might have bagged you one. Because sometimes if you the quiet girl, and I've been guilty of this too. I've seen a girl and I can look like, I think we're more animalistic than we like to admit, right? So like they say, animals can smell fear. I think men can smell depression on women. Men can smell low self-esteem on women. Men can smell easy target on women, right? That bad as that may sound, that's true. Bad as that sound, that's true. Men can smell all of these things and know who to go after to make sure she's an easy target or he gets his rocks off. Not saying it's wrong, because you shouldn't prey on somebody like that because that's predatory. But let's be real, the world is predatory. She said she had pimples on her face. She said she was a little chubby. She feel like she won because she got the jock, and she said he was fine. And, you know, he had his shirt off when he was, you know, asking her to be with him and stuff. So
like, for me, that's what I was thinking. Like, listen, Danae, you have upgraded. You are coming.
Brandy said true, because us as women can smell it on other women too. Dang, that's crazy. If you are around, okay, I got a question for y'all in the chat. If you were around a woman, right? Or let's just say your friends, and she's dating a dude out of like desperation or low self-esteem, or for whatever reasons, she was depressed. He just came into her life at the right time. Would you tell your friend that the only reason she's dating said guy is because of her insecurities, depression, low self-esteem, maybe lack of accomplishments in life? A lot of men don't typically talk to her, so she got her dude that's, you know, extremely fine. Just like Love After, if y'all ever seen Love After Lockup, just like Monique and Derek, that's a prime example. Big woman dating a guy in prison, can't really do nothing, can't go nowhere. As soon as he get out, she's overbearing, and she's overbearing and putting trackers on his phone, trying to see where he goes, timing him, seeing how far it is to his parents' house and stuff like that. So I'm asking y'all, how would you tell your friend this? Ashanti said no.
Into it, right? And so I think a lot of people, I think there was a lot of hatred overall.
Yeah.
You know, most people didn't say a whole lot, but I think there's a lot of hatred about it. And then it's like, it doesn't match because he is more outgoing and personable. And I'm just like, you know,
and see, like she said, he's more outgoing and she's more, like I said, in the house. Like I said, nerd, straight A student, played in the band. Like she was a perfect target to have. And this is what a lot of dudes do. This might sound messed up, but I give a lot of game to women on here too. But a lot of men want the woman that he can feel like he can trust no matter what. And typically that comes from, you know, a girl like a NAIA Jackson, right? And the reason he wants her, because like Derrick Jackson was doing, I can have y'all passing each other on the steps as I'm sleeping with you. And then you get your time slot. She has her time slot. She has her time slot. Because I know that you will accept all of my bull crap because you are a NAIA Jackson. And I told y'all when they broke up, when it first came, I said NAIA Jackson is going to be around here on podcasts. She's going to be doing interviews. She's going to get her dress together. She's going to get her hair right. She ain't going to be rock around here with the bun of righteousness no more. She coming full force. And she finna step out on y'all. She finna show y'all that, hey, I'm finna get out. I'm finna break this mold. I'm a new person. And this part of what she's doing now, like she said, she doesn't get out, is a result or a reaction or a response of what she went through with Derrick Jackson. Now I got to come out here and tell my story. Now I got to come out here and tell my side. Now I got to come out here and tell what I've been through, because this man has done so much to me. It's making me come out of my character of what I'm comfortable with or what I'm typically used to doing. And Brandy said there's a lesson for her to learn. She can't rush the process. I'm weak.
Awkward.
But ain't that part of being around people in your life, is so you don't have to go through certain journeys and processes and pain and hurt, to have that type of wisdom in your ear so you can hear, you know, so they can tell you, so you can avoid those pitfalls and bumps in the road. And I understand there are certain things people will have to learn from themselves, but just like a parent, I'm not saying you're your friend's parent, but you are supposed to be somewhat of a guardian in a sense, to understand, like, we're friends. I'm supposed to look out for her. I'm supposed to have the best interest in my life. Because if my homeboy with a chick, I'm telling him straight up, bro, she ain't the one. If you're going to deal with her, you need to deal with her on the strength of y'all are having sex. She's a funny girl, and that's what it is. But wifing her, your girlfriend, being seen with her and all that, she's not the one. I heard they had to do her makeup. The host says oh man, that's what Brandy said. It's a lot. Hold on. I heard they had to do her makeup, and the host said she hasn't started loving, I guess, that herself yet. Yeah, I herself. Brandy, Ashanti said, if he isn't beating her or financially ruining her, I'm focused on myself and my man. That's some selfish shit. That's
Literally awkward black girl that went to an all-white high school. So there's a balance there.
What did he see in you? Because he had to have said that to you before. What did he see?
He saw a dummy. That's what Derrick Jackson saw in you. He saw a dummy. He saw prey. Like I said, men can smell all of that on you. So that's what he saw.
Seeing you.
Okay. So he said that he liked that I was like smart, and of course he loved my eyes. And I feel like now, like looking back on it, I feel like there was a lot of compliments on like the physical attributes, as opposed to more of the mental and emotional attributes that I had. But then again, we were in love after 3 days. So seriously. And
so you weren't chubby no more in college, huh?
I still had a little bit of chub. I was in the marching band.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily he saw her body and just went crazy, because this is Derrick Jackson, and like she said, he was a ladies' man, smooth, charming. I don't think she has the body of somebody I'm just like, oh my God, I'm just gonna get with her, because like she said, she was chubby. Her mama went to culinary school, so she was around that ink, so she was chubby.
And for a little bit, so I had slimmed down a little bit there, but I still had a little bit of weight on me, but it was proportion. I feel like,
There's enough for him to like her.
Enough. Listen, he did not complain, and I wasn't complaining either. So there's that.
There's that. 3 days we in love. We're going to get married and have a bunch of kids.
Absolutely. Listen, I made him them peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Listen, you ain't going nowhere. White or wheat. I made white or wheat. So that's why I say when we talk about commitment, we got to tone it all the way down. We got to go back to the elementary level of the word and start at the beginning.
Yeah, start at the beginning.
Okay. And yes, there was commitment at times.
At times,
but there was a lot of on and off again. Okay, and through college and even after college.
This is what I tell people: if y'all are going through on and off again, and y'all relationship, leave that bitch on off. Please. There's a reason y'all are going on and off. And typically the reason y'all are on is because y'all like sex with each other, not because y'all want to have a relationship with each other. Typically, most of the time, if it's on and off, leave it off. If it's on, at that point in time, y'all are typically having a lot of sex, makeup sex, doing things, fun things. And then when the relationship starts getting slow and strenuous and y'all have to have real conversations and stuff like that, then that's when the conversation becomes off again. So like I said, and this is from multiple people I've seen, this is from experience in my life. If you on and off again, it's typically y'all just fuck with each other because of sex.
Lots of on and off again. And so leading up to our marriage, we were actually off, right? We were actually off. We were living in North Carolina at the time.
How you be off when you about to get married? Like, make that make sense. How do you be off with somebody and y'all about to get married? Like, she saw all of this happening and still proceeded to move forward.
2015, going into 2016, late 2016, we went our separate ways because there was other people involved, and there had already been other people involved even in college, right? And so
be specific. Other people, what you mean?
Other women. There was
did you ever have other guys that you were dating?
In college there was a guy, Fabian, who I was
you
talking.
Say the man's name. You didn't say the man's name. Fabian, mind his own business. He's watching the Dear Future White podcast.
He's not. He is no longer with us, unfortunately.
Okay. God rest his soul.
Yes, and so in college there was that, but it wasn't necessarily a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. I actually had used him to I used him to set Derrick up because I was tired of him being with all these girls and catching him and going through his phone and watching him do all of his stuff with these girls. And I was like,
so she wanted to basically revenge cheat. Now she's gonna go forward in this story and said that she didn't do nothing with the guy, and they plotted to, get with each other and do that so she can get Derek back. Ultimately, it worked because Derek was with her, got back with her. But if you got to go through these lengths and jump through these hurdles to be with somebody, that's already too much for somebody to say, I like you. I see people like men do stuff like this when they get some good coochie and they don't really get a lot of coochie. And women do stuff like this if those emotions are getting hit just right. Both are dumb and both need a lot of love and maturity and growth to understand why you're with someone. This person seems to be with this man because she was young. She felt like she leveled up. She felt like some people are addicted to drama and mistake it for being addicted to the person. I agree. I think that some people, and people like to always act like everybody wants peace. Everybody does not want peace in their relationship. I'm sorry. Some people need chaos to function. As crazy as that sounds, some people grow up in chaos. Some people, I've heard women that say, if a man ain't beating me, he don't love me. I've heard it, I've seen it, and I'm like, why do you have this mindset? I've seen men that don't like it if he ain't walking through the house and his girlfriend or wife ain't throwing a vase at his head because she's mad that he slept with somebody else, and then they have basically a FTF relationship. Like, they sex ain't good unless they fight and fucking. This is what's going on. A lot of people do not want peace in their relationship. Some people literally have to have chaos to function, to get through the day-to-day life. You got to understand, so many people use social media as a pacifier throughout the day. So many people be on social media all day long at work because they're bored. They need something to do. They're trying to stay in the mess. They are using this as a pacifier to get along through the day, right? So then we have so many people who are using their relationships the same way. If your relationship is monotonous and you're doing the same thing every day, and you're with somebody that's really meticulous about making sure you have a good relationship, that might be an issue for a person that you're dating, because they have to have some type of excitement, and sometimes they get that excitement through chaos, which is crazy to me. I agree, Ashanti. Oh yeah, if y'all watching, hold on. If y'all watching, y'all need to make sure y'all go and follow Ashanti After 9 on all social media platforms. Ashanti did an interview with the girl, and it was crazy. And with this post, this comment y'all see on the screen, it says the past interview, and is an example of that. She doesn't want peace. And I would tell y'all, this woman was wild. She even talked about how her and her boyfriend was shooting at each other. Y'all need to go watch it. Ashanti After 9.
Like, link up and do this so he can I want him to see it. I want him to catch it. I want him to feel everything that I have been feeling with.
Yes. Oh no, what the shit I just seen it. She said shoot at each other, cussing each other out, damaging property, etc. is what some people need to feel loved. That is some crazy stuff, bro. I'm telling y'all, that shit crazy.
All these women, all these girls that he's been with, I want him to feel all of it, and I'm here for it.
And then what happened?
We are literally going viral.
Let's go big or go.
Oh man.
Years later, I'm still 9 years before we ever got married. So I didn't cheat on my husband, but it was like, no, you cheated on your husband while we're in marriage. I'm like, no. You can't use that because we weren't married at the time. So
That's all.
Exactly, right? So these are all the issues that I brought into the relationship. Lack of
And the fact
communication.
of not speaking up was the same thing that you practiced when you were sexually assaulted.
Exactly. So it just carried over, and I didn't realize the power of not speaking about the rape trauma until well after the fact. And I'm like, wow, what did I get myself into? Right? And now I'm practicing toxicity, right? I'm
gonna tell y'all something. I think she still would have been in the same predicament if she had not gotten raped. I think this is just who she is as a person.
Seeing toxic behavior and cycles with holding things in, not talking about it, and then either being passive aggressive or just super aggressive, but nothing in between. And then he has no idea what's going on because he doesn't know what I'm freaking out about.
And what you done seen, what prompted you to start looking through his phone?
I would always get like a feeling, or he would touch me different, right? So after most rape victims are very sensitive to touch. And so any sign of him touching me, any type of any different, I'm like, there has to be somebody else. There has to be.
You're
right?
talking about with a change of a touch.
With a change of a touch.
I think that's part of, when they say woman's intuition, that she know that her man is cheating on her because when he touches her, she feels different. I think if you are attentive in your relationship, I think women and men notice a difference of how you moving, how you dress, how you smell. And for me, I've been in a relationship where someone cheated on me and her vagina smelled different, right? We was having sex. I was hitting from the back and some air came off of there and it did not smell like her vagina normally smells. So I was like, okay, you're cheating on me now. And I stopped because when I smelled it, I didn't stay erect. And I was like, nah, this back shot shit. Yeah, my shit went like this. Like that's literally what happened. And I'm like, nah. I was like, baby, you got an odor down here, shouting. What? And I was like, yeah, you got an odor. I said, I know you cheating on me. This whole sexual process, having sex, 5 minutes in, now it stank. I was like, you cheating on me? She's like, no, I'm not cheating on you. I was like, yeah, because your coochie stank and they never smell like that. She was like, no. And then she went to the doctor and she was like, yeah, they say I got BV because you nutting in me or whatever. I said, hey, we've been together like 3 years and I've always, ejaculated in you. Now it's something different. I said, you letting that other nigga nut in you right now. And she was like, no, I'm not letting nobody else. I'm not having sex with nobody else. I'm not getting nutted in by nobody else. I said, okay, you're lying. I said, you're definitely getting nutted in by somebody else because your coochie stank. And so that went on. And then she comes up and then she was like, hey, I'm pregnant. I was like, you're pregnant? I said, I know it's not mine. She was like, well, I would just say that you're the only person I've been with. I said, we ain't had sex like that since I smelled your coochie being stanky. And we probably only had sex maybe once or twice, and that was just because I was just extremely horny. So, I did it, but I knew she was cheating. And so after that happened, she came out. It was like a Sunday. We was coming home from church, and she was like, yeah, I got to tell you something. I was like, okay, what you got to tell me? I said, I already know what it's going to be. She's like, what? You finally finna tell me that you was cheating on me and the baby might not be mine? She was like, yeah, that's what I'm finna say. I was like, I already know. With the whoop, and then the baby didn't make it, but I didn't think it was mine. And that's ultimately why we're not together anymore. So yeah, I don't think she just knows that he was cheating because she's a rape victim. I think when you've been having sex with somebody so long and y'all intimate and have love and all these feelings and soul ties with each other, you will know when something's different. You're going to know when something's different. You're going to know when something's off. They're going to touch you differently. They're going to kiss you differently. They're going to caress you differently. Like I said, you're going to know.
There has to be, right? And so I would go snooping around because I'm a snooper. And
if y'all watching, y'all make sure
that is a true biblical.
If y'all watching, y'all make sure y'all like the video, please.
Coverse. So if you don't believe in the word of God, listen, let me tell you, when you seek, you will find. And when you find, you have to know what to do.
And what's so bad about it, people will find something, but then they won't do nothing about it.
Exactly.
Because
What Tamar said, let that man cheat in peace. Let that man cheat in peace. Let anybody cheat in peace. A man or woman. If you ain't finna do nothing about it, leave. Why you want to stay in a relationship and be hurt? What? So I can, like people say the dumbest stuff. I just need to know. I just want to know. Know for what? Knowing for what? You just filling up your brain with something that you know and hurting your heart with something that you know to not do anything about it. Let that man, a woman cheat in peace, please. Please, people.
they weren't prepared to leave.
And that was me.
You was like, I'm gonna find it, I'm gonna bust them, and then like, what you gonna do? Because you're not gonna even tell them that you busted them.
I did absolutely nothing. Sit there, crying. Okay, this is how I'm gonna get a little bit serious, right? Okay, I would seek and I would find. I would sit in closets and cry, and I would be in there wanting him to find me in the closet crying. And when he would come and find me in the closet crying, and then I would say, you know,
this is some real abandonment issue. You go hide and cry in the closet and hope this man comes and finds you so he can be your savior once again. This man hurts you and you using it. Now you want him to be your savior. This is real abandonment issues right here. He really is about to cheat in peace, because once he pulls out, he will be getting served papers. See you in court.
oh, I'm just crying because I miss my dad. You know, I would blame it on something else, and they would always mostly be about my dad. Like, oh, I'm crying, but it's really because I just sat here and watched you have sex with, you know, or, you know, right? So
No, the NAIA, that ain't no real people name. Is it? I don't want you throwing people name out here.
Okay.
And it's crazy. She know the women he having sex with by name. She know these people by name. This is wild.
So we're just gonna keep on going.
We're gonna make fake names up. Okay,
We're gonna make fake. We're making all kinds of fake names up.
Okay.
Right now. All fake. All fake names.
All fake names.
Okay. So
you'll watch him have sex with Sue.
Yeah, and Sue and Jane and Jade and Sheila. That's a fake name, right? I don't know.
That's a fake name. That's a fake name. That's not a real person.
Seriously though, I would sit there and watch that, especially in college. I would literally sit in closets, or I would sit on the side of the dresser and be crying, and I would be there, and I would stay there in that space until he came back, from wherever he was, and he could find me, and then he can console me. But he didn't really know he was consoling me about his indiscretion as opposed to the lie that I told him. Right. And so all of that is toxic behavior. And I had to go back and really deal with that later on once I started to realize that, hey, Janae, you are not well.
This is wild. This woman is using her villain to be her hero. She's using the same person that's her villain and then turns him into her hero. This is wild.
Oh, you are not okay, and really deal with why I was doing that and unpack it.
So on again, off again, situationship, commitment, lack thereof. 9 years you go through this, and you said right before y'all got married or got engaged, y'all wasn't even together. Please help me understand that.
Yeah. So before we moved to Atlanta, we were off. We got off because he was dealing with some girls and things like that, and it was a issue. And at that point,
her whole existence with this man has been him 9 years dealing with other chicks. 9 years of dealing with this man. He's been dealing with other chicks, and you dumb enough to go get pregnant by this man. And I'm pretty sure your 3 abortions probably came from being with him. And then you want to get pregnant fourth time, I'm guess. Well, it had to be fourth time. You want to get pregnant after your 3 abortions, and then want to get married to this man and think y'all gonna live a happily ever after life. This is wild.
Point, I was very like hostile and all that towards him, just like, I'm not gonna deal with this, and you're a, F boy and all these things, right? I had some different kind of choice words and language at that time, and then the Lord saved me my mouth. Thank God for deliverance.
I think a lot of people give you a pass on whatever word you decide to use back then.
But no, at that time I had asked him, I was like, do you believe the things that you're saying, right? Because this is at the beginning of his career really like taking off. And I'm like, do you believe the things that you're saying? And it really caused a rift. And so we were off. And so that time that we were off, we were still messing
because
around.
You questioned whether or not he believed that which he was sharing with the masses on avoiding F boys and that type of stuff. Y'all fell out because you asked him if he truly believed what he was saying.
I asked him that. Yes. It was a big thing, and we did fall out.
You shouldn't even question him. You know he don't believe what he was saying. Well, no, I take that back. He believed everything he was saying. He did. Now to stay away or try to what he was speaking about, that's the issue. He believed it, but he tried to act as if he wasn't the fuck boys that he was mentioning or talking about.
Along with the fact that there was actually other girls at the time, and so it was just all too much, and so we end up ending that, and then we both end up moving to Atlanta. Right from there in that, and this is
excuse these commercials, these advertisements, guys. There's another one. Well, since we went on these advertisements, y'all, if y'all watching the video right now, y'all make sure y'all like the video, share the video. If you watching on YouTube, make sure y'all subscribe. You on Facebook, follow the page, share the page. It'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Like, I can laugh about it now, but it's really sad, to like, what space do you have to be in to accept that? And so I dealt with it already, so I could laugh about it now, and it's funny.
That's what Hitler
but
look like. Hitler,
right?
You look back at your old self and laugh.
I'm just like, what? But yeah, no, seriously. It was, I'm coming over at this time. I know such and such is going to be rolling through about, an hour and a half later. Yeah. And sometimes we went a little bit longer. So literally passing each other on the stairs, like out the door. All right, have fun, your shift, and
yeah, but we understand that because pretty privilege is a thing, Ashanti. Like she said, he was fine and had the muscles and basically popular and stuff like that. So with all of that combined, you give people a little bit more leeway. Like women to give men to give women a little bit more leeway, for doing stuff like this too. If she's fine enough and she got that good cootie pop, you know what I'm saying?
And literally, and so there was a lot of people involved at that time. We weren't in a relationship, so all the people that like committed relationships, so I was just on the rotation at the time, and I ended up getting pregnant with our first child. And it was in that I was like, okay, Danae, you got to figure out what you're doing with your life. You are whole pregnant, and you can't get rid of this child because I had already had 3 abortions before.
My God. You had 3 abortions already and then get pregnant again. You are a woman that you held to just kill 3 kids like that. Oh, Lord.
Are whole pregnant, and you can't get rid of this child because I had already had 3 abortions before, and the Lord had already dealt with me. And I was like, Lord, if you save me from this, I'm not going to ever do this again. Got pregnant. I was like, I can't go back on my word, Lord. I don't want you to kill me.
Yeah.
But so I started, okay, I got to figure out what I'm doing with my life. And then I started getting a little bit more serious. Like, what are we doing? He was still doing, stuff with other girls. I knew about it. So I did still participate in some sexual activity and all that, knowing that he was with other girls. I was a willing participant. But it did start to take a toll on me mentally and emotionally because I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Right. So there was a lot of women involved in that time. And it was in that time that I had a conversation with his mom. And I was like, listen, I don't have another 7 years to give him. I'm trying to figure this out. And like, I want to be with him. I want to do this, but I don't have another 7 years to give him. So he has to figure out what he wants to do. And then shortly after that, I'm getting a call from my mom, and she's like, I just got a call from Derek asking me for your hand in marriage. I thought you were not in a relationship.
So she played the mom trap card to get married, basically. All the stuff that she is doing right now is self-inflicted. Ashanti said even in marriage, she wasn't the main chick. This shit is ridiculous. This is sad.
Yep. I was like, we're not. We're doing this co-parenting thing, And she was like, okay, so what are you going to do? And so I actually knew about the engagement, which she didn't know about, but I actually knew about the engagement and all that because my mom told me about it. She was asking me these questions because she was like, I thought you weren't in a relationship. And I'm like, we're not, And so I had to figure out, okay, he's being serious. He called my mom.
Did that make you excited? How'd you feel?
I was so excited because I'm like, he called my mom. My mom and him, like, they don't
mess with each other.
No. And so he humbled himself. He called my mom and asked for my hand in marriage. She's serious about me. It's meant to be. Absolutely. So excited. And so, yeah.
Quit making y'all boyfriends, y'all husbands in y'all head. Quit doing wife things before you get married. One of the things y'all do, a lot of women do, before y'all get married is live with a man. That is a wife thing. You should never, ever, 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 ever live with a man if you want that man to marry you. Point blank, period. Because now he's having sex and you there. And of course, if you stand with that man, you're going to be doing things for that man. So he has no reason to marry you. Also, y'all need to stop getting pregnant by these men before you have a ring. Stop living with these men and stop having babies with these men before you get a ring. That's how you end up a forever girlfriend.
Yes, I was so excited about it.
To be.
Yes, he called my mom. You don't even know what that means, right? He called my mom. They don't even get along, first off, like that. So that meant a lot.
Why didn't they get along?
I left my phone in his car when I first met him, and he called her, and that conversation didn't go well. So ever since then, it's just been like a battle between them, and I've kind of been in the middle of it, and it created a lot of anxiety in the relationship. So I actually isolated from my family a little bit and just kind of was doing my thing, being grown and being involved with his family mostly.
And so you get a tip that he's going to propose. How did he propose?
All of our family was there. All his family was there. My mom and my brother flew in, and we had like a little housewarming party because we had just moved into a new house. And
so y'all got back together then. So after the tip off, how did he come back around and say, hey, can we be back together?
So my lease was up in my apartment, and so we were actually technically still off, but I didn't have anywhere. I'm like, if my lease is up, I'm not about to renew it, so I'm either going back to Denver, or I'm coming to stay with you. I want you to be here for the.
So let's put this out in perspective. You have a black chick, Denver, Colorado, smart, quirky, chubby, went to all white high school. Dad wasn't in her life, raped at 19. going to all black college for the first time, away from home. Seems to be a little bit sheltered from her mother, just seeing how she talked about her mother. And y'all mean to tell me y'all don't think this man thought she was an easy target?
The baby's birth, and it was right around the time that she was going to be born. So we need to figure this out. So I ended up moving in basically with him in the house that he was in. And we never really officially said like we're back together. It was just like implied we're back together, So there's never a conversation like, yes.
My mama used to tell me, you ain't even got to lie to a woman. If she like you enough, she'll lie to herself. That man ain't have to tell her they was even back in a relationship. He didn't even have to tell her they was back in a relationship. She just said it was implied. Nigga, how you imply? Y'all was on and off again so much. How did you think in your mind that just implied that y'all was back in a relationship? Y'all been on and off so much, and all of it now it's just implied y'all together. That's weird. But I know a lot of this stuff is for me and my common sense, and this relationship makes no sense at all.
We're doing
we
this.
Go together. Circle yes or no.
It was just like we're
together.
We're together, and so that's how that happened. And then I got the call, and I was like, okay, we're together, and we're rolling with that, and it felt great. I was all on board with it. I was excited. He called my mom.
He called your mama.
What?
Humility.
Right. And so that's how that happened. And so all of our family came in, and we were celebrating this housewarming because we just moved into this new house. So the plot was, we're celebrating the housewarming, but everybody else knew, hey, engagement, but little I knew too. And so he had the song play. And so here I am, so it.
Oh man, another advertisement. Let's skip it.
It almost gave me like this false sense of confidence and accomplishment. Right?
Yeah.
And so, but you couldn't tell me that at the time. So.
And at the time, we put this in perspective. You're about what, 28?
Yeah.
27?
Yeah, I was like, right. I had just celebrated my 28th birthday.
Yeah. And so you're 28 years old. And then so now, how long did it take from will you marry me to I do?
It was right at a year. So we got married January 13th, 2018. And that was a long year before marriage. There's a lot of stuff that went on in there. We tried some marital counseling. We did not finish
Ashanti,
that.
is that a real thing, being too old to be foolish? Because it seems like more so than not, it's a lot of foolish, dumb old people that's doing the same thing every day. Like we still got people that's living off high school fame and high school hype. And I'm 35 and I know guys that still living off of that. I know girls that still think they are size 4 or 5 and still telling the world they one of the finest things known to man, and they got babies and they done got fat. I'm gonna tell y'all something. Food and babies is undefeated when it comes to women. That food and babies, undefeated. She's not gonna even be a shell of herself after she keep eating time and that food.
There was,
You said premarital counseling or marriage?
Well, that makes sense. I agree. When you're responsible for children, it is time to cut out a lot of stuff. But let's be real. How many people do we see with children that don't need to have children?
Premarital counseling.
Y'all didn't finish our premarital counseling?
No.
Why not?
This relationship's so incomplete. They didn't even finish premarital counseling and still got married. They didn't finish premarital counseling and still went and got married. Wow.
There was a lot of issues that arose. So as we were doing the counseling, I started to come out with a lot of the hurt that I was hiding from college days. I started to come out with that and how it made me feel. And it was a lot, I think, for him to handle all
He
of
was
that.
like, oh my
These are
God, how
things,
you know all this stuff?
right?
He said, I thought
How
I
do you
pulled a wool over your
know?
eyes.
Right? How did you know? But then also like, why are you just now telling me
And
about
you still
this?
here?
Right.
Like, you know all that, you still
Right. And so it was a lot for me to just like be like, and you did this and you did that. And I feel like I did do a lot of shame and blaming in communicating all the things I had been holding on to. So it was a lot for him to handle in that time. But anyway, it was all of that. He was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So we never finished. And then and then here we go in the marriage. So
So you said he said I'm not gonna finish marriage counseling, but we're gonna continue going on with the wedding.
It was looking a little bleak at first, right? Because at that time I went back to the gym and started working out, and then I had a male trainer. And so then at the time that we're going through premarital counseling, then it's like, oh, you're talking to your male trainer, you know, and you're having a relationship with him. You're trying to hide it from me. And I'm like, you know, I'm all these things. And so I'm like,
Ashanti, I agree. If he was doing all that, he should be able to listen to it. But listening to it, it'd probably be like, damn, am I really this horrible? Because now he has to take accountability for all the stuff that he's put this woman through. But that's why they didn't finish it, because he didn't want to sit through and listen to how much of a dirtbag, asshole, manipulative, you know, psychopathic person that he really is. Like, if you know this person is supposed to be a relationship guru. Angelita said they can't take what they dish out. If you know this person is supposed to be a relationship guru and telling women all of this stuff, and then you question this man, hey, do you believe what you say? And he gets mad about you questioning his belief system because he's preaching this to the world. Angelita, I don't think I can't agree with that, because I feel like women always have this, this hurt Olympics of who can handle hurt the most. Every day I see on my timeline, who can hurt? Can a man accept the same hurt as a woman? Like, who cares? And the thing is, men accept that hurt a lot more than y'all like to believe, because, and I'm pretty sure we're talking about cheating. And the reason I say that, because men just don't talk about it. If my woman wants to cheat on me and I'm gonna stay with her, I'm not finna go and get on social media and tell the world, hey, my man cheated on me. I'm not gonna get on the go and tell my friends, my homeboys, my family, hey, my wife is a cheat. I'm not telling anybody that I got cheated on. If I plan on staying, I'm gonna hold it tight. If I decide to tell anybody, it's gonna be somebody close that I think I can trust that won't get that information out. I think women tolerate hurt more than men. I think, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think when it comes to hurt, I think women do tolerate it more, and I think that's because of the emotional aspect. I think men look at it as, if you cheat on me now, you're probably going to continue to cheat on me. Like, if you already I'm gonna give y'all some game. Most men work on this thing. I don't think a lot of women have it, and this is just my bias when it comes to like moral compass and morality. I think men understand there are boundaries and lines that you do not cross. So when you say you love me and you're gonna be faithful to me and you're gonna do X, Y, and Z to me, and you go back and you do something, and I find that you was sneaking around to do it, I understand that you have crossed that line now, and you're probably not coming back after you cross that line. Women have this false sense of hope a lot, that, hey, this can happen, he can change, he could be a better man, I see so much potential in him. And niggas is like, ugh, man, this bitch done cheated on me. Ain't no telling what that nigga was doing to her and how he had her. And then, niggas start thinking, man, his dick bigger than mine. All of this, that all plays a part. Let me see. Yeah, but this guy is bugging. He's doing get back and going live and trying to make this girl insane, but she's messed up in the head behind him. I think she is messed up behind him. I think any man that tries to date this woman in the future should avoid her. The sad reality of this, I think she's going to harp on this so bad, and it's such a big spectacle of her being hurt. It'll just be hard for her to date. And then she's going out there with 2 kids. Hey, if y'all watching, y'all make sure y'all like the video and share it. Y'all make sure y'all like the video and share it.
Like, I'm not trying to hide this from you. Like, you see him, we go to the same gym, you can have a conversation with him. His wife is a trainer at the gym too. Maybe I should have asked for his wife to, like, I didn't even choose the trainer, you know, but basically it became
Angelita, how I made her toxic. Yeah, she is toxic. She toxic now, but and not in the sense of she'll do wrong, but in the sense of she's so damaged. You know what I'm saying? She's damaged goods. Like, you got to deal with this hurt. You got to be Mr. Pick up the pieces. You got to be the cleaned up man. You got to be the console her at night and baby, it's all right. You got to be the I love you, baby. You ain't never got to worry about that, and you still got to pay for the sins of this man that came before you and stuff like that. Nah, dog. Nah.
Became an issue. And so then that became the focus, as opposed to like me having a male trainer and what I'm doing over here became the focus of the conversation.
And be clear, did you have anything inappropriate with the trainer?
I did not.
And did he ever like say, well, you need to have a female trainer then?
He did not, but I took it upon myself. I went to the little desk and was like, hey, I need to change trainers. And then
see, this is a good woman. Like, the man feels insecure, so she went to, the desk. I need a new trainer. That's what you're supposed to do, because I'm married, and if I had a female trainer and for some odd reason my wife didn't like the way she looked at me or something like that, I would go and say, hey, look, give me a dude trainer. That my trainer got a fat ass and she wearing these little tights and I can see a cootie pop print in them and she be bending over in front of me and stuff. So I just need a new trainer because she is sexy. And if I wasn't married, I probably would knock her off. And my wife probably knows this, so she probably telling me to go get somebody else. So give me a guy trainer, because I ain't finna smash a dude. So give me the guy. Give me the best guy trainer you got. What Angelita said. Yeah, she's damaged bad. I really wish her interview was with someone else to capture the real issues, because this guy was too passive and doesn't reflect healing. I think that's why she went here first. I think she will make her rounds on other podcasts, but I think he's just letting her tell her story. He's not giving her a pushback, because this is a person, and I understand why he's doing this, is a person that's been getting dragged through the media, is supposed to be crazy and dumb and all of this. So I'm just going to give her a space to say what she needs to say. Now, if I was interviewing her, it would not go like this. Not whatsoever. Not whatsoever. Because I'm asking questions like, hey, do you think people should feel sorry for you because do you think people should feel sorry for you when you were a willing participant? How long should a person put up with something that you put up with? Like, what regrets do you have? What did you learn? Like, you ain't telling us nothing that you learned. I know it's a part 2. It's a part 2 of this interview, just came out today, I think. And so maybe they get into that later on, like what she learned, what advice she can give to men and stuff like that. But from what I see, she's just telling her story. She's telling her side. And I think she's being very transparent. It doesn't seem like she's trying to lie about anything, though. I do agree. I do love that part from her. It does not seem like she's trying to lie about nothing, even when it makes her look, more naive and dumb. And then this is another thing about people that are socially awkward at times too. I don't know if she's giving us information freely because she really doesn't understand the social ramifications that come from how it makes her look. Or is she just that person that just gives freely all the time? Like, she's an oversharer. Like, we know those people that are like oversharers. You know what I'm saying? We like, you can kind of give this detail without giving all of the details. Like I can get the gist. So we know those people, they're like really, really big oversharers. And it's like, what the hell is why are you giving me so much? So I don't know if it's because she's in this interview and she wants to be transparent. She wants to be open. I don't know if that's like a character flaw of her, that she ain't like, understand like social cues, or she's socially awkward. Cause like she said, she is a quiet girl, like, to herself. Basically nigga preyed on her, and they totally different. I do agree. I'm gonna say this, and this is the thing where I'm finna start doing with interviews too. I keep falling asleep on part one trying to dissect it, but she is being transparent. I agree. I'm gonna say this about interviews, like it's daytime TV. Like this gives very much daytime TV, right? People don't want to see that nowadays. Like, we got all of this censorship and, attack on your First Amendment. And if you got a big enough platform and you got people wanting to come on your platform, you have to dig deep at this point in time. You have to ask the questions, because we're in the era of shorts. A minute long clip, you got to captivate somebody and try to keep their attention for a minute. They're saying now that humans' attention spans are shorter than goldfish. That is wild. They're saying humans' attention spans are shorter than goldfish. So you got to ask yourself, are these the questions that, is going to be captivating? And like I said, I think another thing too, this guy, he's a Christian man. Like that's part of why he started it. But like he said, he want to do healing through relationships, right? And God and ministry and stuff like that. So I think it's real, like trying to, be online with, Christianity, the church and stuff like that. So I understand that aspect as well. But it's like I said, it's just, I don't like it. Like I said, on whole part, I like it. I just don't think he's asking questions enough to, be like that. Hold on. She talked about how not knowing how she came across because she's shy and unaware in part two. See, I didn't even watch part two, but I could pick, like, I'm a great, like, people don't know this, like, my spiritual gift is discernment. I always can pick up on social cues and pick up on people, and I watch people, and I'm gonna always be the person that's gonna have like hard conversations with people to see what I'm thinking about you is true or not. I like discernment. Like I can read her all day, every day. Like everybody went to school with this chick. And the sad part about a chick like the NAIA, like she said she was chunky, but it filled out in the right spots. Those girls that have the crazy bodies and quiet and shy, those are the ones that are gonna get preyed on the most, because niggas looking like, oh, she's quiet, simple. A lot of niggas ain't trying to hit her and smash her, or if they are, she's not going because she's shy, socially awkward. Dudes ain't gonna continue to talk to her long enough to get past the the awkward stage of the barrier to see why this this girl is awkward like this. So if you got a body and you like that, then just know, niggas, you're prey. Ashanti Jordan, you need to inbox her because you can pull more out of her than what she gave. Ashanti after now, way more entertaining. I agree.
The trainer was like, did I do something wrong? Whatever. Can we have a conversation? I was like, there's nothing that you did wrong. It's just, I got to do what I need to do, and I need a woman. And so then I got another trainer, Serena, and she got my whole life together after that. But yes,
like even her just mentioning people's names the way she do so freely and carefully, and he had to tell her, hey man, you got to watch how you do names like that. That's a telltale sign that this person doesn't understand the information that you give, or some type of decorum, I guess, when it comes to telling these stories.
That became the focus. There was a lot of issues that came from that, and pretty much triggered the toxic behavior in him, pretty much triggered the toxic behavior in him to where now we have all these things going on in our marriage. So
such as you said triggered what? You said that triggered what? To accuse you of infidelity, to give him a pass to cheat on you?
Essentially. Like, so me bringing up all these things and then him feeling or accusing me of having this relationship with the trainer, which I did not have, but allowed him basically like, okay, I'm being like in his mind, I'm being disrespectful, I'm being unappreciative. He's done all this changing and actually asked for me to marry him, and here I go, just bringing up all this stuff from the past.
I think they was married like 4 years. She's giving small. Hold on, what she say? How long were they married? She's giving small town, and he's been viral for a while now. I thought he likes the limelight, and she's just in her own shell. Yeah, that's why you pick somebody like that. I always say this: if you're gonna do social media or be in the limelight, both of y'all can't be there. So one of y'all got to be the reclusive, the one that stays in the house and stuff like that. Like, you can't be. Both of y'all can't. But she said she come from Denver, Colorado, probably a small high school, maybe, I don't know, all white high school. They've been together 9 years. They've been married like 4. So let me skip through because I'm about to probably end this video. Let's do it as they talk.
And
would you say he was on his best behavior during that time?
Define best behavior. Okay. So if we're talking about, so we have to define best behavior.
Okay, we're gonna define it as not messing with other women at this point.
Okay, we're gonna have to define that. Minimums, a conversation with that he has had sex with or has some type of dealings with, those people had always been there at minimum in conversation form. As far as having a sexual encounter, to my knowledge, there wasn't a whole lot going on. But then again, not too long after our premarital counseling failed, he met up with
don't be saying no names,
a relative.
Janaea.
I wasn't.
Okay.
I was bridling. I was thinking.
Met up with Shaniqua Thomas,
right,
and
a relative in supposed to, like, a distant relative. It's like one, like, their cousin married my dad, so that's my cousin type of thing situation. But like a relative, essentially claiming as a relative, they met up, but this is somebody that he had a conversation or like sexual conversations with and things like that in the past.
Sexual conversations, they ain't had sex.
He says that they had never had sex. It didn't go past their sexual conversations and things like that. But they did meet up not too long after the marital counseling.
The premarital
counseling that we had. So
y'all having premarital counseling, and this nigga still going to meet other women after y'all having counseling. This nigga just don't care about you. Like, this is one thing I notice about people. When it comes to respect, man or woman, when somebody disrespects you, you have to blow that bitch up. And what I mean by that is, if you don't, they say you give a person an inch, they'll walk a mile. If somebody disrespects you, you gotta blow it up. You gotta blow the spot up, because who the fuck you think you playing with? Like, don't play with me. But like they say, you better go find something safe to do. And what happens is he don't respect her. He has no respect for her because she continues to be a doormat. She just lays down. Let him do whatever. What she said. So he has no discretion. He'll smash the family. So he never stopped cheating, sis. Bruh, she knows the whole time. I'm not buying it. Yeah, she said she knew they was having sex. He was cheating. She said earlier in this interview that her and other girls had shifts and they were passing each other on the steps when she was going to see him. Hey, y'all make sure y'all tune into my next video. We're gonna talk about trans stuff in my next video. Y'all, I've been seeing some crazy stuff about like trans people that on TikTok, and they wild. We're gonna have to go over that. So that might gonna be my next video. It might be later on. It depends. My wife been gone today, and I'm gonna see how we vibing when she get home. She might want to chill with the kids. I don't know. If she come home and she want to do, the nasty, I probably won't be screaming again tonight. But it's all good. Yeah, I don't think he got no discretion either. Like, it's supposed to be the cousin, a married in cousin. Like, sometimes we'll be like, I can't mess with that person because that's my cousin, even though y'all know y'all ain't physically like blood related, like they got married in, but it's just the thing, y'all call each other cousins, and then y'all want to go and have sex.
What happened? If anything happened, they just met up to
right. So outside of that, I don't know. When something did happen, let's see, that was like a couple weeks before we got married. And I didn't even think we were going to get married because it was such a big blow up. And so he got his hair cut by a girl that he used to have sex with, and she posted a picture on Instagram with hearts. He was standing behind her, and there's hearts surrounding them, and I lost it on him. I lost it. I did not use any kind of biblical words at all. And I didn't even know biblical words at that time. So I lost it. And, at that point, it kind of triggered, like, he was like, you don't trust me. Like, you're supposed to be able to trust me. Like,
nigga, ain't no trust there. You've been doing this for 7 years. 7. Trust. Yeah, I trust you gon' cheat. I trust you gonna be with other women. Like, this is a repeated behavior. So yes, I know the reason you took a picture with the female barber is because you was probably smashing this female barber, and y'all know now.
I'm not even doing. I needed my haircut because I'm trying to make a living for us. Like,
got the barber.
This is important. There's nobody participant, and now, and so he's almost in fear that I'm gonna leave because now I've sat down and had a conversation with his mom, and I'm like, I don't have 7 years, additional years to give him.
Day of wedded bliss. Were you happy that you try to put everything behind the veil and said, I'm gonna put all the past behind us, we're gonna start afresh, we're gonna start anew, and I am now Mrs. Jackson. Call me Miss Jackson if you're nasty.
Yes. All of the above. No, I was so excited to be getting married. And
hey, Angelita, I agree. That is wild, ain't it? He can have a female barber, but she can't have a male trainer. I ain't even think about that, but that is true.
Again, my mentality at that time is where, like, I'm getting married, everything is like my dream wedding.
And I won.
And so everything is falling into place. The only agitation I had was because I was pregnant and I was hungry, and the wedding timeline sometimes you be hungry, and I'm like, I'm pregnant. I'm actually 6 months pregnant at this point.
You were 6 months?
6, and nobody could really tell. Like, people were like, are she pregnant or is she not pregnant? Like, that's how it was.
6 months.
6 months. So I wasn't necessarily showing as much as I could have. After that, though, I was like, people were like, what happened?
You got your honeymoon, boy.
Right.
Y'all was lit.
Right.
I don't know what y'all did on y'all honeymoon.
Right. And so that day, though, it was great. Like, it was like everything was coming into place. Outside of course, like I said, being hungry, and then with a little bit of agitation because he had already been pre-gaming with, like, having a couple of drinks with his friends, the best man. So I was like, I was upset first off because I can't drink.
Braden has.
You guys excuse this.
You may now kiss the bride. You like, God, it tastes like Jack Daniels.
Right, exactly. I was like, that's the first thing I said. I was like, you've been drinking, and pregnant women, they like have a sensitivity.
So I guess she's saying, since she's a willing participant and her bull crap, she ain't gonna just go along with him telling her, hey, you can't have no male trainer. He's like, nigga, you gonna be on the lines of, nigga, fuck you. I do what I want to do because you do what you want to do. Is that how you moving?
To every like smell and taste it. Like, is that what year is that? You know? And so
Oh God.
but no, it was great. It was everything that I could have dreamed of in that moment.
So after that, I do, was everything going great for a period of time? Was there a period of time of wedded bliss? Don't say define what wedded bliss is.
Okay, no, we're not gonna do that then. So, wedded bliss.
Was it happy? Was it like, oh, he stopped? He ain't. I'm not threatened by other women that he's bringing into the relationship.
No.
We're good. He's thriving. He's doing these car videos, and he's thriving, inspiring millions of women across the world. And he's treating me the same way as what he's telling other women to accept treatment as. He's honoring me as his queen. I'm his wife, and he's treating me accordingly.
Okay, so no, no, it was not, and I wish it had been. But so after that, we went on.
So I really ain't gotta watch it. I don't even have to watch part 2 because I already know how part 2 probably gonna go. He might get a little more invasive with his questioning. He's probably gonna ask her. He's probably going to ask her, what did she learn? What she needs to tell, what does she want to tell other young women? That's probably the next part 2. She's gonna just continue to tell us how he's just a shitty person and he continued to cheat on her, and she overlooked something else and she found some more numbers and she watched other sex videos of him having sex with girls even after they were married, and new videos, and he probably lied about the new videos she saw in his phone or something like that. It's going to be something like that online. Basically, she's going to continue to tell us that Derrick Jackson is a piece of shit, but we all knew, all the men knew that Derrick Jackson was a piece of shit. No, I have never came across a man and been like, oh, Derrick Jackson be spit. But all the women, he might have cheated, but he was right about that. Nigga, what man checking for a 40-year-old bitch? I'ma always say that. He's like, well, when you 40, your kids is out the house and your credit good, and you still looking good, your body in shape, and you can go to the club, and now the young niggas want you. Nigga, what? Yeah, the niggas with mommy issues want a woman that's 40 years old if he 20 something. Yeah, that's who want a 40-year-old, 50-year-old woman. Now, granted, there are some 40 and 50-year-old sexy women, okay? There are. But is that a woman that I want to take on as a man to be living with forever if I'm a man that's 40, 50? No. If I'm in my life right now, if I'm ever single at 50 years old, I'm slanging much Peter Wacker as I can at that point. As much as Viagra and Cialis don't help me, I'm slanging it. I'm just giving it out. I've done marriage. I got my kids. It ain't no reason for me to be talking about I want to stay with a person and get married and do all of this at 50 years old for what? If we ain't finna have no kids, you can just come over, baby. Come over here, and if the Peter Wacker don't even work, baby, just come put your hand on my thigh. She said he was checking for those 40-year-old women because he sound like a habitual cheater. But like I said, if I'm that old and my Peter Wacker not working, baby, just come put your hand on my thigh. I don't need you to do much. You just need a little money, need a little gas money. Come over here. You want to go out to eat at a restaurant? Because, I'm working out. I'm going to cut my weight. My body going to be straight by the time I get 50 years old. I'm going to be straight. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to have a good time. I can talk to you like I need to. They probably going to have some rose number 35. I can learn how to use the rose on you. And whatever. I can satisfy you and stuff. I ain't putting your coochie in my mouth. I don't do that. y'all be putting whatever. Y'all put too much stuff, different stuff in y'all vaginas nowadays. It's I don't know. Our rubber, you know, some, y'all coochie nowadays smell like burnt rubber. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all always got to put some new gadget, twisty, pulley, sucky, battery operated plug to the wall, jackhammer 3000 to get these nuts off. It's like, what the hell? You know, so like I said, I ain't doing all that. But like I said, if I was an old man, get me somebody like 20. If I'm 50, I need somebody about 25. I'm gonna let you drive the vet. I'm gonna let you, drive. At the time, probably I haven't had a little, nice G-Wagon or something. I'm gonna let you go stunt with your little friends and stuff like that. Yo, I agree. Those is the 2000 babies. Those are the 2000 babies. But I'm gonna let you go stunt with your friends and do whatever, and have a good time. Long as you better not let me catch no nigga in my car. That's gonna be it. But you can go stunt with your friends. Y'all go to the mall. Here go daddy card. Go do what you need to do and stuff like that. I'm cool with that. Like I'm cool. I'm cool with being the old nigga that you need some money. I'll help you out and stuff like that. Like as long as you keep your hand on my thigh, that's all I need. I don't need nothing else. Nothing else. I come from a generation where, men still didn't, put their mouth on just any and every female. And now I keep hearing all in these rap songs. Niggas always want to try to either want coochie and all that, and lick a boot hole and all that stuff. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Okay. So the rules for my card, if I was an old man, right, and I gave my little tender my card to go to the mall, and she going to turn up with her friends, right? If you buy your friends something and she accepts, or you buy it and try to hide it and I find out, that gives me the green light to try your friend. Because why would I be supporting 2 cootie pops and don't get the benefits of 2 cootie pops? Like, that don't even make sense. Like, I could be generous and say, yeah, you can, yeah, you could use my card, but what benefit do I have out of letting my girl and her friends spend the money on my card? Like, you got a nigga on it, or I'm gonna have 2 hands on my thighs from 2 different women. What is that? I don't even know what that is. Is that a book, Chi? I can't make out that emoji. Notebook. Oh, you taking notes? Noted. Well, yeah, like I said, if at any time, like he was saying, men use approach women. What did he say? As a matter of fact, I got time. I ain't got my wife in here yet. Let's go to get Derek Jackson's Instagram. Let's go to it. And let's look at the bullshit he be saying. Hold on, yeah, I'm finna pull it up. Let's go to his Instagram. Instagram. Oh, log in. Y'all know this is my first time ever pulling up Instagram on a desktop. And the women liked it. The women liked it, Derek Jackson, and the women hated Kevin Samuels. And the reason it was because Kevin Samuels was truth, was the medicine they needed. Medicine go down when, typically medicine is nasty and they go down hard. Derek Jackson, he was easy to stomach. You know what I'm saying? He was easy to swallow. This nigga still got 1.3 million followers on IG. And you know what? His following might have actually went up even after all of this stuff. Y'all look at this. Oh my God, y'all. Hold on. Hey. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, I agree. Look at this, y'all. This is what he said. Hold on. This update on here kind of straight. Okay. Let me exit out of this. Dang. That's something we need to talk about. Do women like to see other women hurting? That'll be a. So you think he gonna get more following because of that?
You is how he feels about you. But there's an exception. And that's that sometimes a man will treat you according to how he feels about himself. Like, a man is not going to grow with you if he does not prioritize growth individually on a personal level. Or a man is not going to keep it real with you if he doesn't keep it real with himself. A man is not going to be able to be forgiving and kind and compassionate and graceful with you if he's very shameful and critical and harsh with himself. And if he doesn't take time to love on himself, if he's not self-respecting and who he allows access to him and the things that he does, he definitely ain't about to respect you or love on you consistently in the way that you need.
This nigga here.
Look, we got to stop trying to gaslight women into thinking that they're gold diggers just because they don't accept struggle love. Yeah, there are women out here who say if a man's not making millions of dollars, then he's a broke dusty that don't deserve her. Meanwhile, she can't even keep on her lights. And then there are women who will switch up on an otherwise good man because right now he's hitting a financial rough patch. But there are women out here who say, you know, in order to be in my life, you must have financial provisional value. And nothing's wrong or superficial about that, because when a man can financially provide, it speaks to his work ethic, his ability to plan and execute a plan, his ability to deny himself short-term gratification and realize a long-term.
Derrick Jackson. And you know what? You know what I just thought about? That's crazy. Oh, he tricking and controlling. I smell it. Just not at home. Y'all know what's crazy? So the women that Derrick Jackson spoke to, more women than not, is just like his wife. So when the people see what it has transpired between his wife and him and them getting a divorce in a public debacle, nobody's going to leave because the women that he spoke to is just like NAIA. So since he has a following like NAIA, they're okay with the hurt that he put his wife through. So they're going to continue to follow him. That shit crazy. The women, his following is probably women that have been just like his wife. And I'm pretty sure, especially with black women, a lot of black women probably have the same story as NAIA. No father, sexually assaulted, go to school because you're smart, told that's the way that you're going to make it in life. That's crazy. No wonder why his following has not diminished or depleted. Actually, like I said, I think he's gotten more followers. Even though this interview has been out like 2 or 3 days now. This is wild. This is wild. I've been on here 2 hours, y'all. Gee, yeah, I think I'm on to something with that one. I definitely do think I'm on to something with that one. I'm on to something. Yeah, cause hold on. What you saying? Yeah, because I'm not feeling it. His following isn't city girls though. The soft-spoken young lady, low self-esteem. Yeah, his following definitely gonna be, like I said, the college educated, the one that thinks that it's hard for her to find a good man, so she has to listen to a Derek Jackson. College was her only way out. She might have been the soft-spoken chick that might have been in the hood. Who knows that use college as the way out or something like that. So yeah, I do agree that he probably 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 gonna resonate to those type of women, because if he was with a city girl and he was out here cheating, acting ass like that, just think about if Derek Jackson was dating a Suki Hunter and he was wild like that. Suki Hunter would have humbled him pretty quickly, but he wouldn't even been with her because he couldn't have been manipulative with her. He couldn't have been manipulative with that one. Nope. But I want to tell you guys, thank y'all for watching. I really appreciate it. We rocked out tonight. Y'all make sure y'all share my video, please. Y'all make sure y'all like my video. Y'all like my page, the New Normal Podcast page. I got a lot of stuff in the tuck. I'm just trying to put some stuff together. I ain't really been doing podcasts with other people. I said I want to try to make sure I can build a good show and work on, building myself up when it comes to podcasting and stuff like that. So I'm learning or whatnot. But I want to tell y'all, thank y'all. Like I said, make sure y'all like, share, comment, subscribe, follow my page. It's the New Normal Podcast, and we go.